Welcome to the Cartoons and Vodka podcast. I'm Jess.
I'm your littlest brother, Will.
And somewhere in my basement with duct tape over her mouth, not going to escape, is Maggie. She actually isn't going to be here. So she isn't taped up in my basement. She's taped up in her own basement. So she's got some freedom.
We're practicing social distancing with our torture.
Exactly. And I left her a bowl of food and some water. So
exactly.
I mean, her cats are down there, so worst comes to worst, they'll at least have, something to eat.
Also, is it just me, or does dry dog food taste better than dry cat food?
I'm gonna leave that up to you to decide.
Listen, I was a hellion of a child. I know how both taste.
I knew kids
I will tell you, dry cat food is way too salty.
I knew kids that have tried dog food, and I have no interest. My curiosity is not piqued enough. It is not. It doesn't smell appetizing, and it doesn't look appetizing enough to be like, maybe I'll try it.
Then again, I once lived on MRE, nothing but MREs for a week. I can eat damn near.
Well, that's also because your taste buds kind of got burned off by the MREs. And Will is gone. Jesus. Here I am, alone.
And I'm back.
The military was trying to take him down for talking shit.
God damn it, I will let you know. I would trade top of my class the U.S. Navy SEALs. I do not
have that. God damn it, no. You know what? If you can say it at 5 times the normal speed of a normal talking person, I will let you do it.
What the fuck did you just say to me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs. I have been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda and have over 300 confirmed kills. I am trained in guerrilla warfare. I am the top sniper in the entire United States Armed Forces. You are nothing to me but another target. I will wipe you the fuck out with the precision of life that has never been seen on this earth. Mark my fucking words. You think this is a joke? You can get away with saying this shit over the internet? Think again, motherfucker. As we speak, I'm contacting my secret network of spies across the U.S. and your IP address is being tracked right now. You better prepare for a storm, maggot. The storm that wipes out your pathetic little ass thing you call a life. You're fucking dead, kid. I can be anywhere, anytime, and kill you in over 700 ways. And that has been with my bare hands. I'm not only extremely trained in unarmed combat, but I have the entire...
No! God damn it. Good job. That was impressive, even though the Wi-Fi died tragically. There you go.
Did I disconnect again?
You did.
God damn it. And I did the entire fucking thing.
I know, and I heard you, and I'm very proud. You got cut off somewhere in that, about a minute or two ago, but I heard most of it, and we applauded you.
God.
Thank you, Maggie, for giving me the whole verse. It's too late now.
Okay.
You're good. It's going in the bloopers, we decided. That's not going to waste.
Yeah, I'll do it again sometime.
So, despite technical setbacks, today our theme or our topic is supposed to be movies adapted into cartoons and our wish list for movies that we want to see adapted into cartoons. I'm gonna start with my favorite. I just started watching it. It's really, really good. It's called Spirit Freedom to Ride or Riding Free.
Shut your mouth right now. That show is an abomination and a disgrace to the name of the movie.
It makes no sense why that exists in the way that it does. And I've not watched it.
And it's terrible, and it insults my childhood.
I have not bothered to watch it. I do not plan to watch it.
You just did it to piss me off, didn't you?
I just mentioned it to piss you off because I was looking at a list on Netflix of just different cartoons I've watched. And that was on Netflix with animated TV shows, and I'm like, oh, this has to go on there. I can't just not mention it.
Yeah, no, because how long did I go on last episode about how much I loved the original Spirit movie?
I think he did it for like a solid 2 minutes.
I could probably go on for a full episode about it if you gave me time to actually write a script.
It's the tragic thing is that's what followed after the movie.
Yeah.
And that's just really heartbreaking when something, I mean, it's not abnormal when something gets
Yeah.
a follow-up. That's really not depressing,
Shit.
disappointing. Yeah, but it's even worse when it's like that level of disappointing to the point where it's just like, why'd you even bother?
Yeah. Because, yeah, no, if I remember right, out of all of DreamWorks' animated discography, Spirit was like one of the most serious.
I'd say Spirit and
And Prince of Egypt.
yeah, Prince of Egypt are on the same level of serious animated films that do deserve their credit, despite the fact that
Yes.
I know that they're good, even though I haven't really watched them. I've seen
Yeah.
Prince of Egypt like ages ago when I was younger, but I haven't really watched Spirit in depth, but I do know from like through a reputation, it's still a good movie.
Yeah. And it, weirdly enough, probably formed way too much of my taste in music. Because I listened to that soundtrack every
There's
night from the ages of like 2 to maybe 8.
there's worse things to listen to.
Yeah.
I wish I still had it. I mean,
I could
I
have listened
started
to anything Bryan Adams did in the 90s.
I when I was 10, I started learning how to burn CDs and I burned a little I made like a couple of them that were just songs I really liked, and Witch Doctor from the 2007 Alvin and the Chipmunks was on there. I would like to remind you that I was 10 and I am now of the belief that kids should be able to live a cringe-free life.
Yeah, but you're not a kid now, and that's cringe.
I'm not I mean, I don't still listen to them at this point.
Sure.
I don't. That stuff is like locked away back in like 2007.
God, that
2008?
reminds me of
2008.
yeah. Reminds me of this weird Alvin and the Chipmunks related thing I found called sludgecore, where they take the Alvin and the Chipmunks and they slow it back down, and it is haunting.
Oh, yeah, no, cuz it doesn't even sound like real people. It just like
Yeah.
it sounds kind of, but it doesn't sound quite right. The tempo's too slow.
Yeah, I'll find a link.
Cuz I've heard people do that with both Alvin and Chipmunks and Chippendale, and it's kind of like that doesn't quite sound like a real person. Almost. They couldn't quite get it back. But anyway, back on topic because we're trying to be good about this. The actual first TV show I wanted to talk about was the Beetlejuice cartoon.
That was like the second or third thing on my list.
Because I remember when I was 10, I found it because I don't want to say I was going through my Tim Burton phase so much as I was diving headfirst into the world of Tim Burton shortly before he went the way of Kevin Smith, where it just kind of got like he
Shit.
lost his style. Yeah, he lost his style, and it got kind of generic movies.
Although, to be fair, with Kevin Smith, as of Jay and Silent Bob reboot, he is getting better.
Well, that's good at least. But yeah, so I'm going to go on a small, not rant, but a small tirade about the Beetlejuice cartoon because it is good and it's enjoyable. But if you're watching it because of the original movie, be prepared for a lot of liberties because it's one of those TV shows that's adapted from a movie made for adults that they decide to make for kids, and it's kind of questionable when you put it side by side with the original because they have Beetlejuice and Lydia are best friends, and even as a kid, I'm like, didn't he try to
That's
like?
the opposite of the movie.
I'm like,
He tried
I
to
just
statutory in that movie.
I know, and that's why I was so confused. I'm like, he tried to marry her. How are they friends? And then I think Delia is supposed to be Lydia's like actual mom, not her stepmom, because I guess they were trying to streamline that to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
And unlike the movie, Lydia's dad is not a pedophile, so that's also another interesting thing.
Yeah. Also, this is the 80s, not the 90s. This is the 80s. We can't have divorced parents in movies until like 2007. I mean, not movies, cartoons.
I like that you barreled over my, what's his name? Jeffrey Johns. I can't remember. But yeah, the original actor that played Lydia's dad, that joke. But
wait, was he actually a pedophile?
Yeah, no, the actor that plays Lydia's dad was a pedophile. That's why he's not in movies anymore.
Did not know that.
I learned that like a year or two ago, and I'm like, oh god, is that why he's not it? That's why I don't see him anymore. And I'm like, you know what? Valid. That is a valid criticism. And then I saw him in Stuart Little, and that was extremely.
What the?
My friend Nick and I started screaming like, "Keep him away from the children!" Anyway, back to the topic. Barbara and Adam are also not in the TV show, which makes sense because they kind of weren't the most interesting characters. They were fun, but they weren't really
They were boring.
Cartoon. Yeah,
they are. Well, I wouldn't say they're boring. They're just too boring for a cartoon aimed at kids.
Exactly. Like, they're fine in the movie, but
I don't think kids really want to know about the existential crisis of being dead.
Yeah. And it's basically about Lydia and Beetlejuice having adventures in the real world and then also in the netherworld with a bunch of new side characters. And it's fun. It's really enjoyable. There's some musical moments. And anytime they have a commercial in the netherworld, it is in this weird, very early CG style that I love so much.
Isn't Beetlejuice also like a punching bag in that show?
He is. Everyone hates him, but he's also much more gentle. I would say if you're going to make a lineup of different Beetlejuices, you have on one end the original, you have the cartoon at the other end, and somewhere
weirdly
further
in the middle
closer,
is the musical.
Yeah. Which is a whole different thing.
Where he is in that middle just shifts from moment to moment.
It does, but I feel like they made a good whatchamacallit. They found a happy medium with it because I don't think you could have 80s Beetlejuice today.
In anything today, yeah.
No, because people would hate it so much, and then cartoon Beetlejuice would not fit into
the story of the original Beetlejuice.
Exactly, not to mention it being an adult musical that also wouldn't work. So I think they found a good medium, and your mileage may vary on how much you like him. Because I want to say he's kind of like Beetlejuice doing a imitation of Deadpool, but it's a good imitation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the cartoon is. I haven't watched it in a really long time, and I haven't really felt the need to go back to it. But if I ever had to, I would gladly take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I get that.
So what are your thoughts?
Beetlejuice.
No.
No.
Yes. I was gonna start going into a verse from one of the songs of the musical. I was ready to cut you off. Because there's a whole bit where Lydia's basically teasing him, he's trying to get her to say his name, and she'll go like, Beetlejuice, and then she'll go off with another B word, and you can hear him on the album fall to his knees and scream to the sky.
God, I still hate that I didn't get to see that when I was in New York.
I will send you the totally legal videos that I have of it.
Yes, totally legal.
And definitely not bootlegged from YouTube.
Not at all.
If any lawyers or Alex Brightman is listening for some reason.
Yeah. So
But yeah, if any goth parents for whatever reason are watching or listening to this podcast, you can show your kids the Beetlejuice cartoon if you want to impress the lifestyle upon them.
Yeah.
I would say go movie first, then the cartoon, because you're going to get very heavy whiplash if you go from like a child-safe cartoon to an adult movie where he is literally trying to marry a 16-year-old.
So, Beetlejuice, huh?
We're just waiting for it. Also, in that same vein of gothic kids shows, there's also the Addams Family.
Da-da-da-da.
The one issue though is that it's not very. I don't know how to say this because it does look a bit like the original cartoon, but it just doesn't look good. And I wish they got a
It is
better.
a product of the 90s.
Yes.
And not not so much a product of the 90s, but a project of the early to mid 90s.
Yeah. So it's very much it definitely has like very visible flaws in the aesthetic. It's still a very enjoyable show, but they have this one family called the Normans, I think. And I think the joke is that they all like their names are just offshoots of Normal. Like the mom's name is Norma, and they were the worst people to watch. Wait, did you ever watch it?
I remember watching like an episode or two, but it is in those rough 8-year-old memories that aren't 100% clear.
They had it on Boomerang for like a hot second in like when I was in high school, and that's how I got to watch it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think I remember that's how I watched it too.
Looking at it, I'm just like there were decisions being made. They weren't all good decisions. Like Gomez for some reason has on like a pink or purple suit. Everything's a lot more colorful than it should be.
God, I can't imagine Gomez in anything other than like a really dark purple.
I know.
Just not pink.
It's weird, and I think they were just because it's a cartoon, they were both trying to make it colorful and off-putting, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Like if I got a chance to reboot it, I would make it more, I guess, family orientated, where there's still like some adult jokes, but it's like your kid can watch it and enjoy it.
The Addams Family would be good for like a Simpsons type show.
Yeah. And I think it's better if it's kind of like the 60s show where it's whatchamacallit? God damn it. They're antagonized not by like one specific person, but like society at large.
What do you get when you cross a society with society and society? You get what you fucking deserve.
Oh God. And I think, and I feel like it's very easy to both get it wrong and get it right with the Addams Family, because the whole gist is their version of normal is different from everyone else's, but to them it's still normal. Like they don't bat an eye when like in the 60s TV show they'll be reading a book and they'll say, "No, that's awful. That poor dragon got killed in a fairy tale. How dare you show that to our children?" Which, I mean, also same.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to say I had the dragon face as a kid.
I'm still in my dragon phase. I don't have enough. Well, I don't have any dragon stuff, but I'm also trying to limit everything I own right now.
I got old enough to realize Aragon was kinda a shit story. And by that, I mean it's literally just Star Wars with dragons.
Well, yeah, it was written by a 15-year-old.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why teenagers shouldn't have no creative right. At least from 15 below. Maybe 17 below.
Hey, remember that time we tried to write a Beetlejuice and Heather's crossover?
We are not going to talk about that. That had a good idea, It had
It,
potential. We were just terrible writers. I was a terrible writer. You were all right.
I was still a terrible writer. We got the wrong characters. I should have written Heather. I should have written Heather. That was the issue.
Yeah.
I think I have more venom with my writing than you do. Anyway.
Well, at least I did back then.
Yeah. What's on your list for TV shows that were adapted from movies?
Well, I've talked about it before. I'm going to talk about it again. Men in Black, the series. It's just... It was simultaneously able to capture the feeling of the original movie while still making it a little more palatable for younger audiences.
Yeah, I can.
And by that I mean not traumatic. But yeah, this show actually goes into... It develops the universe better than the sequels did. Okay, better than 2 and 4 did. Because I will still stand by Men in Black 3 being a good movie.
It has Will Arnett. Anything with Will Arnett is debatably gonna be quality.
Yeah. But yeah. Like, you get to... Like, Edgar's cousins show up. You get to learn what bug society is like. And it's basically the Klingons, but a little shittier. And you get to see what Frank the Pug actually looks like.
Really?
Which is admittedly a space pug, but still. He's still a pug with some tendrils. And you just get to learn more about the bureaucracy of the entire organization. It's just... I wouldn't say binge watch the entirety of it, but there are some good episodes in there.
One episode is just them doing paperwork. The most exciting thing that happens is someone loosens a tie and then goes back to filing more paperwork.
You don't see JK or Zed or, God, I forgot her name, through the entire episode. It's just a background character. Also, the worms are just even weirder in the show than they were in the movie because they couldn't have them smoke, drink, or swear.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, they're just addicted to coffee.
See, that's the issue with adapting adult movies into kids' cartoons. You have to funnel it down and filter it so much. I mean, just in general, not specifically.
It's not like it's RoboCop the cartoon.
Oh yeah, remember when that was the thing they were trying to do?
No, because I didn't live in the 80s.
1 second. I feel like there's a Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, God. Second. I mean, I know there's a Bill and Ted cartoon, but Bill and Ted, arguably, that makes more sense.
Let me see, because I don't think there was... Okay, no, there's just a Fast Times TV show. I thought for a second, was there a Fast Times at Ridgemont High animated series? No. Okay, they were smart enough not to do that.
Still one of the 80s teen movies I have yet to watch.
I haven't seen it either. I just know that it would not make a good kids cartoon.
No, it would not make a good cartoon, period.
That and Caddyshack. It just...
Wait, was there a Caddyshack cartoon?
Well, no, I don't think there's a Caddyshack cartoon, but a Caddyshack animated TV show for adults might be enjoyable.
Yeah, that could work.
I think it'd be better if you allow the actors to be good comedians and they are allowed to improv, then you're good. Just do not have Chevy Chase involved.
Oh God, don't have Chevy Chase involved in anything. Chevy Chase is an asshole.
He is! He is! That's the problem. He's a good actor, but he's just a piece of shit.
It takes a lot to get banned off SNL. Yeah.
There was a movie he was working on with Dan Aykroyd, and after I think a month or so of shooting, he just started being a dick to everyone. Because he's just I'm a big star, I don't need to do this, and blah blah blah. And no one could stand working with him.
Yeah, I feel like Bill Murray is the anti Chevy Chase.
I feel
he's a good dude. He's just weird as hell.
I feel like he'd be good to work with. Wait, what was? I think he has this way of of going through what roles to take, and that is you leave a voicemail and he will possibly get to it. which is both great and terrifying.
Yeah, like, then again, this dude is riding on so many residual checks. I don't think he really
That's
has to
true.
work.
He doesn't, but
Like, you have
creative end.
Ghostbusters, Caddyshack, Zombieland, I think.
Yeah,
He would get
but
residual
on the
stream.
creative end,
Oh, on the
though,
creative end, that would be terrible. That would be
yeah,
terrifying to work with.
especially if executives are breathing down your neck, like, "Hey, you have about like 3 to 6 months to do some casting,"
Yeah.
and it's like, we need Bill Murray,
Yeah.
and then he doesn't check it for like 7 months.
So, speaking of movies being turned into adult cartoons, Clerks from 2000, all 6 episodes.
You can watch it within like maybe an hour. You're good.
Maybe 2. But
I
it's
mean,
just, it is the greatest misstep in animation history because
it is.
it's so awesome. It is just the most. You would never think to give Clerks an animated series, and you would definitely never think to give it one like this.
See, that's the thing. On paper, it sounds beautiful because you get all the original all the original actors, and everyone's like that was a part of it. Are part of the movies is working on it. The only issue
And Charles
is
Barkley.
and Charles Barkley. The only issue is like I was watching the episodes yesterday, and it didn't hit laughs didn't hit me until I think the courtroom episode, and that's like episode 4.
Yeah, it's just. I'll admit they probably didn't show the right episodes on TV.
I think it might be better. It would have been better if one they got to cut loose a little bit more, and then
it would do a lot better as a Netflix show.
I think so too. I think if they just got to cut loose, then it'd be great.
Yeah,
but
because I'll admit, condensing like the most R-rated movie without gore ever made into a TV show, even a TV show for an adult, it's it would do like a network TV show. Like honestly, I think if they were able to do it on Adult Swim, it would have been able to work. But we didn't get that.
See, I think if they made it now, like remade it, and Jay and Silent Bob were allowed to actually talk about and deal weed, and deal weed, because they literally, I don't think they even mentioned pot.
Yeah, they sold fireworks.
Exactly, they sold fireworks to kids, which while it does sound pretty on par for them, it's like, yeah, these guys sell weed though, and Jay talks about fucking women constantly.
And men, for that matter.
And men, but he's not gay.
Yeah, no. You ain't gay.
Ew, I hate men. I love women.
Oh, God. In case you haven't been able to notice, folks, in the 3 episodes we've had, we really like Kevin Smith movies from the 90s.
I really like Clerks. If I'm gonna get on a rant, and it's gonna have to be at the end of the episode, but it's gonna be about Randall and what they did to him.
Yeah.
So, first movie, Randall is great. He's my favorite character. He's a piece of shit, but he knows it.
He's a lovable piece of shit.
Second movie, he's great. That's part of the charm. The issue is, second movie, Randall's a piece of shit that fucks teenagers, and it's not great. It's honestly very hard to watch and be able to say, yeah, Randall's my favorite.
Yeah.
TV series, though, I think the TV series did a pretty good job of getting his character right, though.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was probably the best.
All the characters right,
except for Dante. Dante is not enough of a dick.
Yeah,
he's not. Because the thing about Dante, if you have not seen Clerks, Dante, the main character, is an asshole. He's a Scott Pilgrim asshole where he's not aware of it, and he's very confused if someone brings it up.
Although I'm just gonna go ahead and say his actor is like the nicest guy I have ever met at a con. Like,
yeah. No shade on Brian O'Halloran. He's good.
Seriously, he is a really good guy. Like, he's probably one of the favorite celebrities I've ever met at a convention, and I am so happy that I got to, that he actually, and he was super polite, and he was just like, he's like the opposite of Dante.
I can see that though. I can see him being a really chill, like nice person because you can kind of see that in his face and in how he acts. It's just the way that Dante is written, where he
Yeah,
is not aware. But on the TV show, Dante is the straight man. Like Dante's the straight man in the TV
yeah,
show
no,
that kind of has to deal with the craziness. Whereas in the movies, he's this guy with like no ambitions. But
nobody's
then he
really the
gets mad.
straight man in Clerks.
Exactly. But then he
I think
acts like he's better than everyone.
I think maybe Veronica's the closest to being the straight man in that, but
Yeah.
even then,
I think it's really funny though, because I think they insinuated that Dante would have a wife or something, and I'm like, that's very bold of you to assume that Dante Hicks could hold down any sort of long-term relationship to the point of marriage.
at least until the point of the end of Clerks 2.
Even then, if they made Clerks
Yeah.
3, I bet you good solid money that he would have been divorced and he would have fucked some other woman.
Yeah, that is fair. Although I still want to see how his chud of a child would have come out.
I think his child would be fine. She has well, the baby would have Rosario Dawson as a mom, so you can't go too far off.
Eh. So did Jay Muse's kid, but that didn't. In
Does
the
he have
yeah, or well, not with Rosario Dawson. I meant to say in
right?
Jay and Silent Bob Reboot before I said
Oh
that.
wait. Oh my god, he has a kid.
Yeah.
Good god, no.
Take a
I
guess
don't
who plays her. It's a
is
modern
it
Kevin Smith movie, so you have like
I was gonna say
three.
is it Kevin Smith's actual daughter Harley?
Yep.
That's weird.
Yeah, but they at least poke fun at it in the movie.
I
But yeah, no.
I
Jay Muse is a dad, and Jay Muse is actually an amazing dad.
I mean I don't doubt that. I don't I don't make any assumptions about actual people. And I know he's been through like hell and back, so I'm
Yeah.
glad he's doing well.
Yeah.
Um,
He came out on top.
yeah, and
It's
that's
amazing
good.
what happens when you quit heroin.
It sucks whenever that happens and you see the people that are supporting them just trying to carry on, and it's just like that's rough.
So anyway, on a lighter note,
Yes,
the
on a lighter note,
Ghostbusters cartoons.
which I have not seen. I've seen videos talking about it.
I remember watching like a few episodes of the real Ghostbusters, and it was exactly what you'd expect out of an 80s cartoon based on the Ghostbusters. In that it's gets away with a lot more creativity with the ghost because there's no budgetary limit with effects.
Exactly.
Like they actually play around with the concepts a lot. Like can't remember what episode it was. They actually go into the trap with Slimer.
Huh.
You get to see that netherworld.
I think the funny thing is they actually make Slimer, I'm not going to say likable, but less of a horrifying creature. But in the movie, you see him and he's just gluttony personified.
He's just the ghost of Jim Belushi.
God damn it.
No, that's literally what they called him on set.
Oh, God.
Because Jim Belushi was originally supposed to be in it before, well,
tragically dying. Yeah.
And then in the 90s, we had Extreme Ghostbusters, which I do not want to talk about, but will. God, the tragedy of the 90s extremism.
Oh, yeah.
Although I'll say it wasn't as bad as Extreme G.I. Joes.
Oh, God, was that a thing?
That was a thing.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Oh, boy. And it directly followed up the original G.I. Joe cartoon, which I'll admit is a acquired taste.
The only
that you either grew up with or your parents grew up with and made you grow up with it.
The only G.I. Joe thing I saw was like one of the movies. It wasn't even the first one. It was like one of the sequels in a dollar theater with my family. I had no idea what's going on.
To be fair, the second live action G.I. Joe movie was actually a lot better than the first. Even if they did make the incredibly stupid decision to kill off Duke.
I think the more I think about it, the more of a weird decision it like seems to me to make a G.I. Joe live action movie.
Oh, they're making another one too that's supposed to come out this year.
Good
That
God.
I think, if I remember, Rob Liefeld has some creative control in.
Okay.
They are making a Snake Eyes movie.
Everyone's costume has them very bulked up in the chest and shoulders.
I mean, to be fair, of all the franchises I would trust Rob Liefeld with, G.I. Joe is one of them. Because, A, to be fair, this is not 90s Rob Liefeld anymore. He actually has grown as an artist. And
Hooray.
B, dude, G.I. Joe is literally his MO. It's big dudes with big guns.
I mean, I don't doubt that. I think the kinds of action movies I could watch have to be like extremely stupid ones where it's just like
Last
yeah, we're
Action
gonna
Hero.
not Last Action Hero, like kind of in the vein of Quentin Tarantino where they just go
Okay.
all out, and it's just
To be fair, I have a soft spot for Last Action Hero.
I haven't seen it.
All you have to know is a kid goes into a parody of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and
No,
80s action movies.
no, I know what it is because it was one of those movies that for some reason He Who Shall Not Be Named ripped apart, and I didn't learn till later that it's very beloved. And it's
Yeah,
like
no, it is a hilarious movie if you look at it for what it is. It's not trying to be an 80s action movie. It's a
yeah.
parody of 80s action movies.
Yeah, I'm
This
starting
It literally has Sylvester Stallone in the Terminator 2 poster. That's not supposed to be serious.
I'm starting to realize that maybe I shouldn't have listened to his into what's his space's opinions. Oh, also, I should probably say this. There was a Rambo cartoon.
Yep.
And if you know if well, most people I don't think know this, but the Rambo series is based on a book and
Yes, a very depressing one.
Rambo dies, and then it's about him just fighting off the local police because he was being like terrorized by them for just like looking very shady.
Yeah. And I'll
And
be fair, the first Rambo movie, it really wasn't an action movie. It was a thriller based on just based on that. Of course, it doesn't go as dark as the book, but
yeah,
yeah, no, the first Rambo is very much a down to earth thriller.
I think that's a very common thing for most like bloated action movie series is that the first one is very down to earth, and then as it
Yeah.
goes on and the numbers get bigger, the less like shits are given.
Yeah. Looking at you, Terminator.
I need to watch Terminator. That is actually on my list of things to watch.
Honestly, I'm going to be really honest with you. Just watch the first two and maybe Sarah Connor Chronicles.
My ex-boyfriend was trying to get me to watch it was a newer one. It wasn't the one with Matt Smith, but it was like the
Oh, you mean the one that wasted Matt Smith?
No, not that one. That was it was let me look this up because I can't remember. He was trying to get me to watch it and I just was not into it. Terminator Salvation, was that it? It might have been Terminator Salvation.
Terminator Salvation is one of the better post Judgment Day sequels.
Yeah,
Like
he was trying
out of the 4 sequels that came out after 2, I will say it is the closest one to actually being quality.
Yeah, he was like, you have to come watch it. And I'm like, I have not watched any Terminator movies, and I do not care.
Yeah, that's a really bad place to start out with Terminator.
Mind you,
Like,
he was like
honestly,
mind you, we
Terminator.
were like 12. Yeah, I should have added like we were 12, like 12/13, so
Then
our
again, I was 8 when I saw the first Terminator, so yeah, Terminator is a thing a little bit dear to my heart. The first 2, at least.
like I will watch them.
honestly, just watch the first two, and honestly, you can get away with watching either order. I will say, though, Terminator 2 is more of an action flick, and Terminator, the first one, is actually really more of a... It is a horror flick disguised as an action movie.
I can see that.
It is really a slasher movie, but instead of a maniac with a knife, it is a robot with a gun. The Mighty Ducks got a cartoon.
Oh yeah, that was also very confusing as a kid to see
Yeah,
the Mighty Ducks as actual ducks, and then
fighting crime, right?
or aliens. It's something about aliens,
Yeah,
and then
aliens.
and then like looking at the original movie like VHS tape and being like,
Yeah.
why are they kids? What is this?
Yeah, no. Also, apparently one of the kids in the Mighty Ducks went on to play Foggy in Daredevil. Yeah.
I have not seen either of them, but knowing like tropes now, and knowing the plot of the Mighty Ducks, I'm just kind of like, okay, I can piece it together from here.
It's just a cute kid sports movie from like the early 90s.
Yeah.
You either grew up with it or you didn't.
Yeah, it was like that and Air Bud were like the two big movies that just constantly seem to be like either mentioned or on TV, and I'm like, I haven't seen any of these and I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I have seen, because of my job, I have seen Air Buddies.
Oh god, I'm sorry for you.
It could have been worse. I was expecting it to be far worse, but also it had great himbo representation. Because one of the bad guys...
I've not seen that movie in forever, so...
One of the bad guys is the dumbest person I've ever seen put on screen, and it made me laugh. Or, well, I try not to laugh too much, because I'm like, alright, I can't... That's the hard part about watching movies with kids, especially bad ones, is you cannot make the same jokes or get into conversations with kids about it, because I can't be like, yeah, this guy's a really dumb piece of shit, isn't he? To a bunch of, like, 6-year-olds.
Yeah. So this is just a question for you. Since it technically came out, like, right in that time, around when the live-action Batman movies were coming out, would you count Batman the Animated Series for this category?
I would. I was going more off of stuff that was like directly based off of the movie, but I'd say go for it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, what is there to say that hasn't been said about Batman the Animated Series?
It's good. If you have kids, let them watch it. It's great.
Yes. It's probably the best piece of Batman media you can allow them to consume.
Exactly.
Because most kids are way too young for The Dark Knight. Nobody wants to see any of the Snyder stuff.
And
the Burton stuff is just...
The Burton stuff should be held off until they're a little bit older.
I'd say 13 for the Burton stuff.
Yeah. But it's like the Batman, if you want to give your kid something you all can watch together with some more complex writing, go with the Batman the Animated Series, because they put a lot of love and care into it.
Yeah. And again, I didn't say this first, so I can't say it again. Mark Hamill as the Joker is just beautiful.
Also, slightly off topic, but I kind of got reminded of this as we were talking. Remember when there was supposed to be a Voltron live action movie?
Oh god, no.
Remember the rumors about that?
No.
This was like 4 years ago. There's supposed to be a live action movie, and they never went through with it.
Was this before?
This was right around the time the show started.
Okay. This was right around the time the show that someone's gonna have to bleep started.
Yeah. I remember, and people were like, oh gosh, Dreamcast and blah blah blah. And then it died, and no one remembered that it was happening. And I'm the only person that has brought it up in the past 4 years.
Yeah, there's also apparently supposed to be a Gundam movie in the works at Legendary Pictures.
That's probably put on hold due to current circumstances.
Yeah, dude, everything's put on hold due to circumstances.
Yeah.
And this was just like in pre-production.
But But while most movies are not going to be able to be made for a hot while, here are some movies that we wish were made. Not movies, but TV shows we wish were made. Like the Scott Pilgrim animated series. That should have been a
That would have
thing.
been amazing.
Like, they should have done
You
that
could have just.
after.
Yeah. They should have been. They should have. They still should do it.
They should.
If they could actually get the cast back and like accurately do the books as they were actually paced out.
I don't even think you really need the original cast. No offense to them, but I feel like you would need actual voice actors.
If you recast Wallace Wells,
actually, yeah, Wallace might be the best.
Nobody can play Wallace as well as
Kieran
Culkin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, the Culkins run together for me.
I only know of two of them. But yeah, there's it. If you have not seen it, it's still on YouTube. There is the Scott Pilgrim animated short, which is just like the first couple pages of volume 2.
Yeah.
And it's really good, and it's in the style of the comic, and it makes me mad that they did not make an animated series, especially because it'd be great as an animated series.
Come on, Adult Swim.
Possibly better than a movie.
Oh yeah,
compressing everything, because they had to cut out so much character development and other stuff going on for the movie, because obviously you can't cram 6 books of everything into one movie.
Yeah.
But I will give money to make that a thing. I don't have any money, but I'll give it.
You know what else would make a really cool cartoon? John Wick.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I haven't seen it, but I feel like if it was very stylized. I have not seen John Wick.
How Are You, My Mother?
Once upon a time, a long time ago, at a bar, there was a nice man.
We're cutting this out. So, yeah, John Wick, there's just so much unexplored in his past that could make for so much cool content for an animated series. Just opening with the pencil scene.
I feel like it'd be really good if it was super stylized, and it would be, I don't know how to explain it, but very clear silhouettes of people, and then bright background colors. I think
this would be perfect for something cel shaded, a cel shaded video game.
There you go. I think getting the people that made Spider-Verse on it would be the best decision.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. Actually, I think they're owned by the same companies too.
So Sony, get on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been meaning to watch John Wick. It is, again, something on a list. I just do not get around to watching movies.
Seriously though, all 3 John Wick movies are amazing, and one of the really cool things is Keanu Reeves just actually knows how to do most of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Remind me sometime later to send you the video, and actually probably link it in the podcast description, of him just doing run and gun shooting. It is so cool. So you can
everyone find you a minute that can do both. Someone that can do anonymous charity and can run and shoot guns at the same time.
Yeah.
Let's see. I feel like, have you seen the Umbrella Academy?
No, I have not seen the love child of my favorite musical artist and his favorite comic book. And my favorite comic book of his that he's made. John Way made the damn comic, okay?
I forgot. I couldn't remember. But I feel like that would be a really good cartoon if they didn't go with a live action TV series. It'd be a really good, cool looking cartoon. even if they didn't go with the original character design and they made them look more like they do in the current TV series, it'd still be good.
Yeah.
Also, seeing like the differences between and how the characters look in the TV series and the comic is kind of off-putting, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Just kind of in a okay, I guess that person is the same person. She's going to be very upset that I'm bringing this up because I don't think she knows about it. But the Buffy the Animated Series was supposed to be a thing. There is all right, Maggie is currently listening in on this, but she was basically there's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer animated pilot being made. I haven't watched it, but I've seen clips of it. It didn't look too bad. Okay, so you all cannot see this, but Maggie just said Joss Whedon needs to stay back. He is a bad man.
Bad.
Slaps his bald head.
So speaking of Joss Whedon, things that he should stay the hell away from, but were projects of his that should get animated
Women?
series. Yeah, those should stay away from him too. Firefly would do so cool as an animated series.
I'll do you one better. Firefly, but everyone else is animated, but Nathan Fillion is still a live-action person.
Well, yeah, it's Nathan Fillion.
It's just Nathan Fillion still doing live-action acting. They just, like, put him into an animated
green screen
series.
around him.
Exactly. Like, now I'm interested.
Yeah, speaking of 80s movies that should have had cartoons, Indiana Jones would have made such a cool cartoon.
I feel like that'd be really interesting, but I feel like it'd be better if it was made now instead of in the 80s, because I can only see the 80s cartoon being like Inspector Gadget levels of goofy.
You know, I'm not saying it'd be like, but yeah, no, Indiana Jones would make a cool cartoon.
It would. I think
there's so much you can work with that.
I think now it would be safe to make it. In the 80s, back at its peak, it would have been dangerous to do.
Yeah. And considering I don't think Harrison Ford can really do another live action indie movie,
I don't think he can either. I don't think he can. I don't think he's really gonna be able to either, but I don't think he cares to do it.
No, I think he likes Indiana Jones better than he likes Star Wars, though.
I haven't heard him talk shit on Indiana Jones, so.
Meanwhile, Star Wars.
Oh, goodness. Seeing him talk shit on it is hilarious.
And it's so good to see that most of the cast of the sequel trilogy has learned from him. Because God knows they deserve to. Oh, I've never felt more depressed in a movie theater than watching episode 9. And just slowly having the hope drain out of me.
Yeah, I was sitting there with Christian, we were watching it, and we literally recorded a video of our reactions afterwards, and we're just like, there's so many issues with it that could have been fixed with good planning.
Yeah. If you had told me when I was like 8 that at some point in my life I would enjoy going to see an adaptation of Little Women more than I would seeing a new Star Wars movie, I think my 8-year-old self would have slapped you. Yet here we are.
It was rough. It was really rough because I'm like, this didn't need to be like this, and you can see exactly where they could have fixed things.
It was like watching my girlfriend get turned into the moon.
That's rough, buddy. Hey, speaking of movies that were made into cartoons, that adaptation of the Last Airbender movie was kind of weird.
Jess? I'm gonna count to 3. And then we're gonna forget that movie ever happened. 1, 2, 3.
Don't forget about Sokka and Ong.
whatever deity can give me the strength.
That just mistakes were made all around. Just so many mistakes.
Yeah, but also one thing about that, I hate that people put the blame for that on Shyamalan, because apparently he was the only person who wanted to keep it loyal at all.
See, that's the weird thing, is like, it wasn't like the show had been off for a couple years. It was still, I think by the time they were making it, it was still going. So there was no reason for it to turn out the way it did.
Yeah, and just why? Okay, moving on. Something else.
Palette cleanser. Kill Bill the animated series needs to be a thing.
I'd say that. I'd also say Pulp Fiction, the animated series, could be cool.
That'd be a Pulp Fiction animated series would be cool. I think if it was an animated anthology, that would work really well with it.
Anthology, but with some of the same characters.
Yeah. And I feel like Kill Bill being like a flashback and flash forward thing would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Kill Bill, because I went into this unspoiled and I got my heart wrenched. So if you have not seen Kill Bill, skip ahead. But seeing, like, having it flashback to the bride, like, being an assassin, getting together with Bill, and then flashing forward to her living her life with her daughter, and just kind of dealing with whatever comes her way, like trying to reconcile her past and all that, would be really interesting.
Hey, Jess.
Yeah?
I've never seen Kill Bill.
Oh, shoot. 1 second. What did she say?
I have never seen Kill Bill.
So,
Speaking of Quentin Tarantino movies that would make good cartoons, Inglourious Bastards.
Ooh, maybe. I've caught, like...
Because, I mean, honestly, killing Nazis, how is that ever not entertaining?
That's true.
Showing the legacy of the bastards, just showing more of them, what they actually did before, well, the war ended in Tarantino's universe.
But yeah, that'd be a really interesting show to watch. Yeah. Especially if they went all in with, like, the violence.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, it needs to be full on brutal.
I feel like it'd have to be at this point, because you can't really have a Quentin Tarantino adaptation and not have
blood, guts, gore, and tits.
Exactly.
And dick. And feet.
Yeah. Lots of feet.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino. The Schneider of, the Dan Schneider of Hollywood.
Oh, God. Let's see. Also, a Spider-Verse animated series would be really interesting.
Yeah, but we've always also gotten so many good Spider-Man TV shows already.
That's true. But we haven't had anything like Spider-Verse, and I feel like we got I got spoiled with both a Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales movie all at once.
Oh, yeah.
Along with probably one of my favorite Peter Parkers ever. And I was so...
Let's do this one more time.
I was so hesitant about it too, and I'm like, I don't know. I haven't seen Peter written like this before, and then he turned out to be amazing.
Yeah.
But watching the beginning of the movie where he's voiced by Chris Pine, I'm like, I know Jake Johnson's voice. What is this?
Yeah.
And then it turned around on you.
Turned out to be Captain Kirk.
Yep. Have you listened to the Spider-Man
yes,
Christmas album?
Spidey bells.
And then Miles is like, you guys aren't even paying me to make this album. He's like, I just need some money.
So yeah, here's something that could probably make a good horror sci-fi movie that could make a pretty fun cartoon, but I feel like it had to be made in the 90s or else it wouldn't have worked. Tremors.
I have not seen Tremors, so I'm gonna let you handle that. Maggie's seen it.
It is one of Kevin Bacon's best films. And that's counting Footloose. That's it. I said it. Tremors is better than Footloose. Yeah. Giant sandworms out in the desert eating people.
Maggie, if you want to come in and chime in on this, like you have some knowledge.
Plus,
Oh, one
Bert
second.
would have been one of the best cartoon characters they could have put in. I feel I was denied critical, need to know information.
Okay, I'm back.
God, how can one quote from a movie just sum up this entire goddamn year?
I didn't even get to hear the quote.
Oh, I'm putting his version of it in the chat, so.
Okay.
The folks at home listen to it from me. You get to hear it from Bert himself.
All right.
But yeah, making it like a Monster of the Week type show would have been so cool with just different types of graboids and all that. And it just our lovable cast of misfits fighting the good fight against the evil worms. I hate worms. Yeah, there's a reason I like this movie. Giant worms get killed.
Also, Maggie might remember this, but do you remember when they were trying to make an animated Supernatural TV series?
Didn't they make like season 1 into an anime?
They might have. I remember there was at least like one episode of it where it was animated. And it was like, I think the first episode. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Supernatural the anime series.
That was
the thing.
That was a decision someone tried to make. I don't have words for it.
It's Supernatural as an anime. There is no words.
Also, Maggie was saying Sam is senpai, and she's trying to defend herself because she's on mute today.
God.
I will put her on blast.
Wait, she's not here to defend herself.
We
can talk all kind of smack.
We can. I will still have the raw audio.
Push comes to shove, I will put out the unedited version.
I have it. I will make copies for us.
So yeah, if we ever wind up at a convention and just ask us for 8-track tapes of it.
She's trying very hard to defend herself, but she is not here. I can just
we can say her. Anything.
We can speak for you. Also, I'm kind of bummed out because we in our chat group we have a specific thing for Maggie's intros.
No, we haven't gotten to use any of them.
We haven't gotten to use any of the ones we came up with yet, but we'll get there.
So anyway, going back to stuff that will make good. You know, they should have made a TV show out of that cool movie, Dragon Ball Evolution.
Where's the
and I'm just waiting for the Dragon Ball fans to kill me.
I haven't seen it because I'm not a Dragon Ball person, but good lord.
It hurts. It hurts a lot.
It's one of those things where you just really question why people are in charge of making things and why no one's been fired yet.
It hurts me to watch. Okay, let's move to something that actually could have potential. Ready Player One could have made a good animated series.
Maybe. I think
if they take a lot of changes from the book
and
some changes from the movie. Honestly, the best thing the movie did was a lot of changes in the book. Oh, God.
Yeah, the one is... I have not seen Ready Player One. I've seen a lot of discussions about it, so I have some knowledge at least. But you would have to either write a brand new protagonist or you would have to change up the protagonist.
Honestly, writing a brand new protagonist would not be too bad.
Or you could have him, grow and learn as a person and learn that maybe stalking your ex-girlfriend is not how you handle your problems.
And maybe know that talking for an entire page about masturbating to your girlfriend that you are stalking is not good.
Boy.
God.
What was it? No, did you see that the guy that did you see the guy that wrote Ready Player One? He wrote this whole, I don't want to say poem because that's too kind, but he wrote this whole thing about nerd girls
Oh, God.
and how I think he was saying they were underappreciated and how attractive they were.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, I should have never opened this can of worms.
Nope.
B-movie.
B-movie would make a great.
Just make it Seinfeld, but for kids.
Did you see like how many ideas they came up with in the development process?
No.
All of that in an animated series. There were so many ideas and different things they came up with that it would honestly be better if it was like if it was a map project. That'd be great, where it's just different animators doing different ideas and turning it into stuff, and then you just have one Jerry Seinfeld, oh god, Jerry Seinfeld impersonator voicing everyone as Jerry Seinfeld doing a voice.
I still say though, if that didn't work, just make it Seinfeld for kids.
That I have not seen Seinfeld. I will get around to it, but I feel like that would be. I
still say Everybody Loves Raymond is a better show, but
I feel like if you just had George Costanza being the only person in the show that swore and used adult language, and everyone else was kids friendly, that would work.
Oh god,
that would be great.
Beautiful.
That'd be great. Everything else is fine, but George just comes in and swears. Is the only person that still talks like himself.
All right, and this one isn't technically a movie yet, but I still think it would make an excellent animated series. Metal Gear Solid.
That would be really cool to watch. I feel like that'd be really interesting to be
like if they were able to do a full
serialized.
Well, I know I say Metal Gear Solid, but I just mean the entire Metal Gear series. I feel like if they did like what they did with Castlevania and do like the really older games from like the NES, the original Metal Gear, and just making that into like a Netflix series, that would be amazing.
I feel like that'd be really interesting, especially if it's like serialized and it all carries over episode to episode.
And then just slowly work through the games in like release order.
Yeah, there you go.
Or because what the thing with them is Kojima didn't really write games. He wrote movies that he turned into games. And I think that's pretty evident with Death Stranding.
I have seen a little bit of Death Stranding, like playthroughs of it.
It's either something where you like Kojima's style and his work and you play it, or it is extremely boring to you.
I saw Guillermo del Toro show up as a character, and I'm like, okay, I have faith in this.
Yeah. You have to be able to stomach Kojima kinds of weird.
Also, I feel like, well, I'm trying to think about this, and if it would be a good idea. Detroit Become Human would be interesting as an anthology, I feel like.
But you need to have Clancy Jones in it.
Yes,
Clancy you need to have Mr. Krabs.
Because no one else.
Did I say Clancy Jones?
You said Clancy Jones.
I'm a dumbass.
Like, because no one else can do his voice. He's the only person that can.
Nobody can do it.
And I feel like it'd be good if it was just one, an anthology, and two, you only had so much time, so you couldn't really wear out the message.
Yeah.
Because I think that Kara and Cute Boy McGee that everyone was obsessed with, their stories were really interesting. Connor, yes. Connor and Kara's
The Android Said by Cyberlife.
Yes. Stories were really interesting, and those would be good on their own. Jesse's was just kind of, I don't know.
Didn't play the game, only saw the memes, but saying Clancy Brown reminded me. There was there should be another one, but B, there was already a Starship Troopers TV show. And just going with the goofy tone of that movie, like either A, just do another one do a series with the goofy over the top tone of the movie, or do an animated adaptation of the book.
What's really interesting is that the book is like apparently really serious. That and Dr.
Oh
Strange
yeah,
Love were just two very serious books made into super goofy movies.
yeah. Yeah, no,
It's
actually, I will say though, the Starship Troopers book is a classic for a reason.
I'm gonna say this without really any prior knowledge, but I feel like a Stephen King anthology series of just
Oh
because I
my
think he
god.
writes short stories would be really
Yeah,
interesting.
either that or like I would love to see an animated adaptation of The Long Walk, which is depressing as fuck.
Because I feel like I said, I have no real prior knowledge, but I have like I've seen enough Stephen King movies and everything to know that like an anthology series would probably be a very entertaining thing to
Yeah.
watch, especially if you try different directing styles.
Oh yeah. Oh, that
Um,
I just miss anthology horror shows in general, like Tales from the Dark Side and Tales from
there's
the Crypt.
into what is it, Into the Dark? That's the one on Hulu where it's like Bloomhouse making like a movie a month. The
Fascinating.
last one on my list of shows I would love to see animated, or maybe I'd like to see into animated series. Book of Life. Book of Life would be a very fun cartoon to watch.
Remember me, even
That's
though we are up.
that is
That's the joke.
Coco. I was
That's
gonna
the
say
joke.
that is Coco. Shame on you.
That's the joke, Jess.
um, it, Book of Life would be a very fun cartoon to watch. Um, I feel like especially if it was I was gonna say kind of like an adventure series, sort of,
Yeah.
because it is like a really entertaining movie, and it's probably one of my favorite animated movies, even though I haven't watched it in a couple years.
Remember me.
I was gonna say everyone's gone.
I haven't seen it, alright?
I know you haven't. I need to mail you my DVD.
I only started singing
Um,
Remember Me to make you both yours and Pan's blood pressure rise.
I was gonna say, how can you? I was like, of course, you got the two Mexican movies mixed up. Um, Also, if you what like you read Lore Olympus, right?
Yes.
Did you know
I
that they're
had to
trying to make an
remember.
animated series?
Oh god.
No, like they are trying to make an animated series. It's Jim Henson's company making it, I think.
Okay, all you had to say was Jim Henson Company, and I'm good.
And I'm ready to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious because I don't know if she said anything about it. The creator, aside from like, hey, this is gonna be made, and that's it. But I'm excited because if anyone is uninformed, Lore Olympus is basically a sort of modern retelling of the myth of Hades and Persephone. It is very cute. It is also very beautiful to look at.
And unlike a lot of other things that show Greek mythology, they show the Greek gods to be the bastards that they are.
Also, it's really funny at points. They make so many meme references, but it's kind of well done.
Although, speaking of Greek mythology, Percy Jackson deserved an animated series
That would be really cool.
just to erase the memory of the other thing.
I've only read like the first book, but I do feel like that would be a really interesting story. Especially if they kept the kids at their age, at the actual ages, and had them
And
age
didn't make them
as the
like
story goes on.
17.
Yeah.
You can't see the painful smile, but it's there.
Eh,
As somebody who grew up reading the books and am still reading a lot of what Rick Riordan puts out. Yeah, I want a good adaptation of Percy Jackson. I don't care if it's a movie. I don't care if it's a TV show. I don't care if it's a web series. Just please.
It's still very popular. I have kids that read Percy Jackson books all the time, and it's like there will be an audience, especially if it's like a younger protagonist, which Percy is supposed to be.
$5 says there's going to be a Disney Plus series at some point because Disney technically owns the publishing company.
I think they're trying to go for that.
Yeah, because I remember Riordan talking about potentially talking to Disney about something, but I've learned to not get my hopes up when it comes to book adaptations.
Yeah, so I have been Jess.
And this has been Will.
And Maggie is still chained up in a basement somewhere.
Don't worry, we're giving her food. Social distancing and all that.
I mean, we throw it downstairs, so we're still keeping 6 feet away.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's up to her if she can get to it.
Yeah. Survival of the fittest.
Yep. All right.
Thanks for listening, folks.
One moment. All right. Craig, get out.
Fuck you, Craig. You're any.
This recording's going to be fun. This is going to go in the bloopers. You want me to do Katya's verse from Read You Wrote You? The hard thing is she did it all with a Russian accent, which is...